Okay, Module 9 of Basketball's officials training. We'll be going over free throw administration, foul reporting, as well as rotations for dead ball when we do have a foul. So when we're doing a free throw, the lead will always administer the free throw and bounce the ball to the shooter. And then they are responsible for the three players that are opposite side of them to make sure that there's no lane violations going on. They're also responsible for the one player that is directly in front of them on the block there. In this case, it's that red player that is kind of straddling that line of the green and yellow. So they're looking for lane violations in there. The trail official is looking at the players that are in that yellow space. So the two players directly above the block on that side, as well as the shooter, to make sure there's no lane violations going on there. The center is then responsible for all the players that are outside of the three-point arc to make sure that they're not crossing early as well. Remember that the 6 players that are on the block that are lined up next to the shooter there, they are allowed to leave on the release so they can step in and it's no violation. If they step into the paint before the release, it'll be a violation. The shooter and then all of the players outside of the three-point arc, they're not allowed to step inside the line until the ball contacts the rim or the backboard. So when we do report a foul, we should only ever have 2 officials moving at one time. The third official, there should always be one official that is standing still and then they're dead ball officiating. They're making sure that there's no fouls or illegal contact going on while the other 2 officials are moving. When an official calls a foul, they'll need to freeze, do the proper mechanic, and then let their partner as well as the players know what's going on. So if it's travel, we're going to make a travel sign and then show our partners where to take the ball out of bounds and whose ball is going to be next. If it's a foul, they'll do the same thing, but then they'll also need to go over to the scores table and report the foul. After they report the foul, they're always going to stay table side. So they could be in position to be the center or the trail. They'll never be the lead after reporting a foul. Another thing that we want to do is to go around the players and not through them. And then we'll stop in the reporting area. That is that red space that we see on our court here. That is the reporting area. We're facing the table and we're doing the proper mechanic to show them what the foul is. The table side official, they'll go to the calling official's previous spot for the throw-in, or they're prepared for the free throw. So if a lead official calls a shooting foul, they're going to go to the table. The official that was by the table will then replace the lead official, and they'll administer either the free throw or the throw-in. Yep, so you'll see the official come over. He first does the correct thing, tells them to count the basket, and then he reports the foul as well as the color of the team and who the foul is on. So what we'll see here, the calling official, which is the lead, goes around the players, comes to report the foul. The official who was the center then replaces the calling official and goes and takes over the lead. So watch the official that will start right in front of us, go down and replace the lead official who comes up and reports the foul. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the trail official on the far side is standing still and dead ball officiating. Okay, next we're going to be going through just a lot of rotations. So lead, non-shooting foul on the baseline. He goes up to the table to report the foul. The then trail comes down and replaces him, and then he'll inbound the ball from that point. A center non-shooting foul on the baseline. So the center will move over to report the foul. They'll become the center on the other side. The lead then comes over to administer the throw-in because it's on the baseline. The trail then comes over to the opposite side of the floor, and that's good. A trail non-shooting foul on the sideline, because they're already next to the scores table, they'll just turn, they'll report that foul, and then they can go ahead and administer the throw-in as well. The other two officials don't need to move in this case. A lead non-shooting foul on the baseline, they will go around the players, go over to the reporting spot on the floor. The center will then come down and replace the lead and administer the throw-in at that point. Center, non-shooting foul on the baseline. They're going to go up to the reporting area. They'll report the foul. The lead will then move over. The trail will move down, and then the old center becomes the new trail, and we administer that on the baseline. On the opposite side of the court, it looks like the players are still on the other side, but we have a trail calling a shooting foul. So they will go over to the scorers table. They'll go to report the shooting foul. They will then replace the center. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the center will move over. They'll actually become the center on the other side, while the lead go ahead and will administer the free throw at that point. In this scenario, the lead is calling a shooting foul. So they will call the foul. They will go over to the reporting station. The center will then come down, become the lead, and will administer the free throw. Center calling shooting foul. They will go up to the table, report the foul from there. Lead will go to administer the free throw, and then the trail and center will just flip. Trail becomes the center, center becomes the trail, and then we're shooting free throws and we're on. Trail is on this side calling shooting foul. They will just turn, report the foul. Ball will go down to the lead. He will administer the free throw. Meanwhile, the center does not need to move at all and will just be dead ball officiating while this is happening. The center on the far side calling shooting foul will go over to report. The trail will then replace him, and then the lead will administer the free throw on the baseline. Lead on this side calls a shooting foul. Will go up to the reporting station. The trail will then come down. They will flip positions, and now the new lead will administer the free throw. Again, this is all kind of redundant, but we're just seeing how rotations work. Lead calls a foul on team A, goes to the reporting station. Because now we're going the other way, they can report the foul, and then they'll go and become the lead on the other side. Meanwhile, the trail will go and inbound the ball while this is happening, and the center will just remain the center, but now on the other side of the court. The lead calls a foul, and now they're on the opposite side of the table. They will still need to go and report the foul. They'll become the new center. The old center will come down, become the new trail to administer the throw-in, while the old trail, while this is happening, is going to go down and become the new lead. Center table side, they will report the foul. They will come down and be the new lead. The old lead becomes a new trail to administer the throw-in. The old trail becomes a new center. Again, this is all kind of redundant, but essentially what we want to be doing is being efficient in our movements and setting us and our partners up for success. So if somebody has a foul, we know that they need to go and report the foul at the table. The other two officials need to be helping that official out, getting into good position so that we can get play moving again. Remember that we have a running clock in our game, so we need to be efficient in our movements and try and get the game running as fast as possible. So just help each other out. Make sure there's always one official that will be dead ball officiating, but the other official can help out, get into a new position so we can get the game moving faster. Go ahead and take the quiz that will cover both module 8 and 9 and come on back for another one.